Hey everybody, what's going on? Alan here. Welcome to the Gibson Garage Speed Shop YouTube channel. And in this video, this week, we're doing something particularly exciting. Most of it's been pretty exciting when it comes to this truck. But in this video, we should get it up and running and driving down the road. And to help us do that, Evil Energy has hopped on board and sponsored us a little bit. They sent some fuel lines and fittings and stuff to help get this thing on the road. So let's check it out. Now here we go, a box from Evil Energy. Now I was supposed to do an unboxing, but it just came in a FedEx bag, like one of them grayish, whitish kind of bags. So it's not a big deal. It was just, this stuff was all just thrown in a bag. But haven't opened any of these yet. This is, I'm guessing, fuel line, 20 or I think it's 20 feet of PTFE, and then a bunch of fittings. So I'm gonna put you on fast mode here while I unwrap all these, and then we'll point them all out. Alright, here's what I got. Now 8 of these connectors here. Now if I'm making 3 lines, I should only need 6, right? 2 on each line, but I might make a 4th line. I'll explain that in a sec. I also picked up these fittings here that would attach to the fuel filter on each side of the fuel filter. But for now, we're starting off with these. So we're making 3 lines: an evap line, a return line, and a feed line. You might not need the evap line, but we're going to start there because by the time I get to the feed line, I need to know how much hose I got left to see if I can go all the way to the filter and use those fittings, or if I got to stop short at where the fuel lines end and use these fittings. So the evap line's a 5/16, and I got 2 5/16 male quick connects, and I'll explain that. You're probably thinking, well, that's not going to work. Okay, well, here's the idea. I'm going to disconnect these lines, right, assuming that we're going to start with fresh lines from here to begin with, and drop down here and go that way. We got some extra black nylon line that we can use. So I'm going to take that 5/16 and hook it up to the canister right there, because that's also 5/16. Use the heat gun and bend it around and make it go as long as it goes around the side here. That will turn it into a female, just like you see here, instead of the male on the tank. So now I've got female there and female on the other end of that, and boom, you've got 2 male connectors to put it together. That makes that line a little bit shorter, reusing that black line. Like I said, if you're planning on going from the pump anyway, you got some spare black line to use. So that keeps it a little shorter. There's that line. The feed line is obvious, 5/16 female quick connects. That'll hook up to the tank and then to the metal lines under the cab right next to the filter. The feed line, same way, straight from the tank, 3/8 quick disconnect on both sides, unless I got some extra. And a 4th pair of the connectors here in case I want to continue the line after the fuel pump and keep coming this way. But I don't think I'll have that much hose. So let's just start small. All right, now that this thing is in the air, let's go get underneath and straighten out those lines. What do you say? It is gross under here. I'm trying to bend these lines, and everything I look at gets my hands dirty. So much built up grease on this frame rail. So you know my go-to. I'm gonna use the foaming stuff this time because it'll stick to it and eat. Sticks and eats. Let me shake it first. I don't remember. All right. Set up some other stuff while we're down here. All right. Can't hurt it. Well, you can hear it sizzling. So if you're new to the channel, thank you for tuning in, and please subscribe if you like stuff like this, and then go watch all my other videos, catch up, you know, and then hit the notification bell so you can stay tuned for future builds. I got a lot more to do to this. I've always got plans for the Magnum. I got some headers I want to put on that thing. I've had them for a year at least. Got a Beltec lowering kit. Those are lowering springs in the back and in the front. Stock knuckles in the front, but the back I modified the hangers and shackles so I could put on this diffuser. I wanted to do something different other than a roll pan, so I did that. You know, race truck, right? So these hangers are actually only as they're up above the bottom of the frame, so it's smooth down there. And of course, with the box gone, you got to bolt the bed sides to the cab. I think I did a pretty good job there. It's about 1/2-inch spacers with some plates that I cut off. Actually cut these strips off of the bed. The same with these pieces here where the lights bolt to. I cut these off the bed as well so I could use them to build a structure to hold the back of the bed sides up. The inside and the whole truck, in fact, has been stripped of all of its wiring except for like the taillight harness up to the cab and the headlight harness up to the firewall. Battery relocation, obviously. Everything's gutted out of this dash. I made a board for new wiring, and this is just for the engine right now because I got a LS. Well, it's actually, I think they're called an LM7 from an 03 Yukon. Got the power cables and ground cable going through the firewall there. Shaved the firewall on both sides for the most part. Got to have a wiper motor, so that'll be hooked back up eventually. These are the harnesses for the headlights and taillights. Here, this motor is stock. It's like I think it's like 150, or it might even be closer to 200,000. It just has a new harness, and then I redid the power cables, like I said. Blacked out grill and emblem from LMC truck. These are glass. I think they're, I forget what brand, but glass lenses with LED bulbs, and then some LED turn signals here and LED bulbs. Ion 16x8s on Toyo Proxy R888Rs. Almost forgot to mention the manual rack and pinion from Flaming River. That's actually like a 1977 Mustang II style. And then I cut off the front of the cross member to make it a flat plate, and I've got the steering bar going through the frame cross member. Polyurethane bushings all the way around. Nothing aftermarket on the control arms or anything. And I've got the electric pedal out of the Yukon, modified it with my original pedal. And of course the floor shifter. It's not manual valve body or anything, it's just a floor shifter. I have to get everything off of the column, which I have done now. No electronics will be plugged into the column because I'm converting to an electric Prius column. That's going to be this guy right here. And then this will be like in the dash a little bit, so the steering wheel will actually be further away. It'll be closer to the dash than it is now. And I'm going to clamp on the turn signal stuff there. Here's the new turn signal wiring harness with everything you need right there. Whew, it's getting warm out here now. This thing does run and drive, or it did, right? I had to relocate the gas tank from the ground. It won't fit in between the frame rail and the drive line like the stock tank does, So I've got to put it up on top like you saw, and now I have to extend the lines to make it reach. But before that, it runs and drives just like it did when it was in the Yukon. You may be asking, how did you delete the vats? Well, I did. I did it all on my own with my laptop. So it starts and drives now, and I got a video on that too. If you want to see that video, let me know in the comments below. And I have the footage. I just don't know if anybody's going to be interested. It's kind of boring, you know, just silent, really almost no talking, just me going through the steps. Okay, back to work. So these are the original fuel lines from the Yukon. Okay, and transmission and engine, of course, and those are going up there, and all of that's good. It's just when you get here to the frame, I'm missing the bracket that holds this thing, the filter out, that the filter would bolt to. I didn't grab that from the Yukon, and I wish I would have. But it's not a huge loss, not a huge deal. Ew, it's still pretty dirty. I'm gonna set these up just like this on the wall. I'm gonna steal this little black clip right there, drill a hole in the frame, and that'll hold all three of those lines right there on the frame. And then I just need to bend these three lines kind of this way. All right, so I can meet up with the new lines we're gonna make from the tank. So once we get these lines pointing this direction, then we can build the new lines. Okay, it's not the prettiest, but it's secured, partly. This one would require a little more bending to get it to fit in there, and I've already kind of oopsied it up a little bit. And I've got this pointing this way for the emissions line, so that's good. Now, let's get this other line, these other lines up top taken care of. All right, I took the 5/16 hard line that was here and went all the way to here and has like that 90 at the end. Well, I just took that 90, hooked it up over here, and that's going to be our new vent tube. And that comes around. I use the heat gun to make a 90-degree bend in the tube, and it stops right there. And then I'll make the return, and the feed line will be made out of the new hose, and we'll drop down right here as well with a new hose made from here down there. Let's continue with this line by making this the first hose that we make to go on down to the vent tube. Don't have a choice. Had to do it. It didn't split. That's good. I got it. The tape worked. Got to have tape tightly wrapped around it. Trim off just at the end if necessary. And then leave the tape on. You know, why not? Alright, so there's supposed to be a tool for this. And, but I have seen other people do it by hand. So we'll give it a shot. What we want to look for is this line moving away. If we see that start to back out, then we know we're not sucking the hose down. We're just engaging the threads. So I'm going to start pushing. It looks like I've hit the threads already. And no, I don't have one of those aluminum wrenches. But I'm just going to keep pressing down while I thread it in. See what happens. I should have used lube. I should have sprayed some silicone lube in there. I didn't think about it. Dang. Well, this seems to be going in pretty easy. I'm actually pushing the hose in further than the tape line. Oh, I feel some resistance. I think now we're actually just now getting to the fat part of the hose, maybe. Or fat part of the fitting. Now I'm hitting the bottom one. You need a thin wrench. Dang it. Gotta be careful, don't want to scratch the paint. Yeah, that fits. Nice. Tighten her up. Whew, that wrench is still hot. Wowzers. Ouch. Now we can screw this end. Screw our fittings on. Go do a test fit. Alright, so we're underneath it. Here's the line. We only have to go from here to right here, which is about 3 feet. Now let's see if this fitting actually fits in here. Nice and tight. Oh yeah, Daddy likes. Let's cut it there. Okay, let's cut it. Oh, I gotta wrap tape around it first. Dang it. Alright, let's see if I get as lucky with this end as I did the first end. Oh yeah. Felt that go in nicely. Alright, the second end is Krypton. Let's get the fitting on it. Now, I don't know if these need Teflon tape or anything. I don't know. You guys tell me. But here it is. My first hose. Listen for the satisfying sounds. Whoa. Well, that's the first line in. Easy peasy. That's pretty fun. I don't know why. But I just gotta repeat the process 2 more times, and then I'll meet you back here when I'm done. That's a tight fit. We can make it happen still. Just like that. Hopefully that seals. And the other end of that 5/16. Ooh, so nice. Right, preliminary test fit. Yeah, sounds stupid. Anyways, I'm trying to see how much length I got left on the 3/8 line. So it's hooked up here. It's coming down off the tank with the return line. Coming down over here, that's the emissions line ending there. There's the return line plugged in right there. But the feed line, I'm leaving some slack here. We're putting some fittings for the filter. That looks like that's going to have room to go all the way up to the front and have about that much slack left over, which is about 2.5 feet, maybe 3 feet left over, but definitely not enough wouldn't have been enough to do the whole return line as well as the feed. So now you guys got like a basis for comparison. If the 20-foot roll does this much, you'll probably need, I don't know, 6 more feet to go from where the old return line went up to here, at least 6 feet there. So maybe a 25-foot roll if you pulled it tight. Well, and that's if you got 3 lines to do too. If you didn't have 3 lines to do, a 20-foot would be plenty, I think, to do both the lines, because we could take that 3 or 4 feet from the vapor line, plus the almost 3 feet right here we'll have left over. That's 7. I think that would be, and I said 6 feet, so I think that'd be enough. 20 feet would probably be enough if you just had 2 lines to do from front to the tank. And I did get the right fittings. Don't make me look like an ass. Alright, the final piece. We're going to leave the old line in for now because, well, it sucks to get to hold the whole thing out. It's kind of up against the transmission bolts and stuff like that. Ooh, satisfactory. Alright, now let's plug in the fuel pump. Let's prime it and look for leaks. That was a weird sound. It sounded like I heard bass. I don't even have speakers in the truck. Is that? I wonder if that came in through the phone. Fuel pump's working, I do believe. Let's try that a couple more times. Well, no leaks so far. Gotta get it running first, and then we'll double check everything. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Atta boy. Now we're looking for fuel leaks. Oh, we got a leak. Shut it up. We had one leak at that fitting there. That red one.
Not tight enough, maybe?
So it looks like I forgot to even tighten that one. So I tightened the fitting on. And let's try again. Nothing else leaked underneath. Everything else was dry. Alright, so got that emissions light on. Evaporative emission vent solenoid, which is the thing in front, I think.
Hey.
That's all. Well, it's possible I hooked that up wrong. Well, let's see what the live data says. I want to look at the yeah, short-term fuel term's a little high. Coolant temperature is getting up there. Closed loop. We're not up to temp yet. Yeah, fuel trims are. Wait. There's a discrepancy between bank 1 and 2. We'll come back to this in a minute. So I might have a bad oxygen sensor. Short-term fuel trim, bank 1 sensor 2. That's the downstream one. It's stuck at 99. Bank 2 sensor 2, that's stuck at 99 also. I might have these. Oh, you know what it is? It could be that the exhaust is cut short. And I'm getting a bunch of dirty air on those sensors. Let's see. Our idle's a little low, 500, 5.5. Still in closed loop. Temperature's 200. Should have a 195 thermostat. It was stuck before, so I'm wondering if it got stuck again. It could be working. I'm holding it at about 1,000 right now. I think I definitely got a miss. Might only be running on 7 cylinders. Long-term fuel trim starts to go down with the idle up because it's pushing that air faster past the sensor. Now the short-term fuel trims are like really nice or really low. Let's see the sensors here. Those are still about 99.2%. This thing's not running right. Closed loop still. We are getting closer every day to getting this truck drivable. And one more step to that goal. Completing that goal is I got to make a bracket for the vapor tank, or the, what is that, charcoal canister. And it's just sitting here. Well, we got to fix that, which should be easy. Alright, it's late and I had to remake it like 3 times, but that is the finished product. Stay tuned, I'll get some better shots, you know, in the daylight. I just wanted to show you guys a little something tonight. Alright, next morning, here's a shot of it. And let me just explain what's going on here before you get all like, what the heck is that about? Well, so I didn't realize that this canister has a lip built into it. Just like up top, there's a lip on both sides. And I just so I was gonna randomly just drill a hole and have it, you know, just sit wherever it ended up. But then I realized after I had folded it, I saw the lip there, and that is also a perfect solution for keeping the back end strapped down, which was something hadn't figured out yet. So I was like, oh, great. Problem solved. But then it ended up being just that short, where I only had to carve like half a bolt hole out of this bracket for the bolt to go through. And then of course there's all the BS I had to deal with. Finally ended up with this design, which I love. Should have came up with this design first. Just wish that was like an inch longer, so it was actually in a hole and not in a half a hole. But I need to get underneath and start securing all the fuel lines, and also because even though we went a step forward with the bracket, we went a step backwards with the fuel tank. I had to scoot it over. And there's actually a 2x4 sitting on the bed mounts, spanning across the distance here, and it's like sitting on the cross member and a 2x4. But I need to switch gears, get off the fuel system for a minute. And then, because there's other things that need to get taken care of, like this. I haven't hooked it back up yet since I put my steering column back in because it looks like trash. I must have spilled some brake fluid or something, but the bar and the shaft and the U-joint are both just terrible looking. So I'm going to pull it out, sand it down, paint it up again with some primer. We'll do it right this time. Do some primer, some paint, maybe some clear coat. Who knows? And I'm also missing a grub screw, I think you call it, or a set screw, because I've got the one that goes all the way through, but it doesn't hold it very tightly, right? So I need this set screw to hold it tightly, because that is a little bit of play right now. I decided to take the time to clean up the steering column. I sanded or wire wheeled all the paint off of it and just put a clear coat on it. Spray painted the cross member black where I hadn't finished spray painting it yet. So this is all looking a lot fresher, as well as getting the steering column bolted up nice and tight now too. Alright, it is back on the ground and it is secure. 2x4 and the tank. It's even way more secure because it's got like 2 points now instead of straddling, you know, a single point. So that is awesome. And now the last thing to do is tie up all the brake lines and make sure they're secure with some zip ties and stuff. Nothing too fancy. First drive. Pause that whole time. that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for sticking in there this long, and thank you to Evil Energy. Go check out ievilenergy.com. Get some full line solutions for your thing, and also talk to them about, say Gibson Garage sent you. Use code Gibson during checkout if you don't talk to them personally. And also, if you do talk to them, see if just you can order the Gibson Garage package. If this is what you're looking to do, email and say, I need the Gibson Garage kit for the relocation. Until next time, guys, peace.